Because up until this point in my life, I think I believed things because of how they felt. Like at this point in my life, I still said stupidly erroneous things like, as long as you love someone, you should have sex with them, that's fine. That felt great. I believe in God, but not Satan. Well, that's convenient for you. You'll believe him when you see him. All right? Now, I remember thinking, this is awesome. I don't want to believe something because it makes me feel good. I did that with, we call him Father Christmas, you call him Santa Claus. When I was 8 years old, around December, I was more moral and more happy. But just because a worldview makes you happier and better behaved isn't a good reason to continue believing in it if it's false. So I said to my mum one night, I walked in, she's doing the dishes. Hey, we don't have dishwashers in Australia like you do, so we're all doing it by hand. I said, Mum, like that's an important point of my talk, right? I thought that was necessary. ADD. Mum, I said, I'm going to go visit all the Christian churches in town. And she went, righto. She thought I'd lost my mind anyway. I went to the Lutheran Church, the Baptist Church, the Assemblies of God Church, Seventh-day Adventist Church, United Church, everything. I went and saw them all over the next couple of weeks. Now, when I went to the Assemblies of God Church, I remember thinking, man, this music is rocking. This is like a rock concert. It's fantastic. I'm like, this is so much better than my parish. You know, you've got Agnes on the organ. You may cross the barren desert. Please cross the barren desert. And take that 70s Protestant music with you. And, I would go to the Baptist church, right? I'd go to the Baptist church, and everyone was kind, yeah? Like, they were like, oh, g'day, mate, you're Matt Fradd, are you? I work with your dad, Gary. Oh, nice to meet you. I felt very welcomed. Now, again, at my parish church, I could have died in the front pew. You know, and then the two ladies who did the vacuuming. At some point, someone would have said, gee, that Matt Fradd kid's really taken to religion, hasn't he, Agnes? But through much thought and reflection, I came to the conclusion that I don't want to belong to a church because it makes me feel good. I don't want to belong to a church just because the homilies I find moving or inspirational or because the music's good. We should want those things in the Catholic Church, perhaps, but I don't want that to be the reason I accept it as true. I want to believe it because if God exists and God became incarnate and established a church, I'd like to please belong to that one, if that's okay. And as I reflected upon it and did some research, I found out, as you already know, that as you look into these different denominations, they trace themselves back not past sometimes the 16th century, right? I mean, you've got Martin Luther with the Lutherans in the 16th century. John Smith founded the Baptists in the 17th century, yeah? But it's historically undeniable that the one church which can trace its lineage unbroken to the time of Christ and the Apostles is the Catholic Church. I believe it's around AD 108, St. Ignatius of Antioch is the first to coin the phrase, right? Or if not coin it, to at least use it, Catholic, universal. I want to belong to that church. As I have reflected upon my faith, I mean, that was about 14 years ago I came to Christ, there's been times that I've doubted stuff. And there are times that I don't know how to make sense of stuff in my faith. Like even now, there's questions I'm like, I don't know how to reconcile that. But here's something really honest to say. Any worldview you take, you will have that. There will be questions that you don't know how to reconcile. When I was borderline atheist, I didn't know how to explain the inherent dignity of my friend Carla. I didn't know how you could say something was actually wrong, independent of human opinion. I didn't know how to make sense of that. And so while there are still questions, I have come to accept the truth claims of the Catholic Church. Now, I don't know you. Right? I don't know where you're at. I suppose you'd say you're in the first group. You've sought the truth about God and found him, but maybe not. So let me say one word to each of those groups, and then I'll get off, okay? If you're sitting here tonight and you're thinking, well, I would like to say I've sought the truth about God and are therefore wise and happy, but one, that feels arrogant, and two, I'm not very happy, actually. I think a better word than happy would be just blessed, right? Objectively better off. that when I came to Christ, I had a whole lot of emotions going on. When those emotions went, I would go and smoke crack. Yep. It's like, I love you, Jesus, praise you, Lord. And then they would go, and I'd go just do stuff with my friends. My entire faith life was based upon the sandhill of emotion, not objective truth. Dumb idea. Anyone who's been married for more than 5 minutes knows that's not a good idea, to base your relationship with someone based on how you feel. Don't do that. Secondly, if you're seeking the truth about God, but have not yet found it, I want to encourage you to continue to ask those questions, but to know to whom you ought to ask the question, where you should direct the question. It would have done me no good at the age of 15 if I had have proposed the argument against God's existence from the problem of evil to my grandma. If God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent, he wouldn't want there to be evil. He could do away with all evil. He would know about all evil. Fourth premise, evil exists. Therefore, God doesn't. Or if he does, he's impotent, ignorant, or wicked. Nan, what do you got to say about that? It's a mystery. Ah! No, I'm not done. Pray this novena to St. Jude. All right, that's great. Look, couple of places I want to point you to. One is Catholic.com. I used to work for Catholic Answers. There you will find a wealth of audio and video and whatever else there is that you can consume content through. And it's fantastic and it's free. If you go to my website, mattfradd.com, I just wrote a book on atheism in responding to 20 common objections to Christian theism. You can get them for $1 each. We're selling them there. Another one, go to strangenotions.com. A friend of mine, Brandon Vott, started up a website for Catholics to put forth arguments for the existence of God, the historicity of Jesus and so forth, and to respond to common objections. Those would be a couple of things I'd recommend. Plus, I'm sure there's some great books out there. Finally, if you don't care, and I suppose to some degree or another, we're all in this boat. Very seriously, I would like to invite us, if we're in that position, to meditate upon our death. Yeah? Because very soon, for some of you more than others maybe, you will die. You will absolutely die. And they will put you, unless you're kind of, cremated, they'll put you in a grave, right? And they'll put you down, and the world will be over for you. I don't even grasp what I'm saying. But all those little things we like, all those little delights, the sport, the reruns of The Office, and my wife and my kids, and it's done. Absolutely done. And then what will matter for me, Then what awaits you is eternal hell or eternal heaven. And hell is an extremely real possibility for every single one of us in this room, religious or not, right? Male, female, doesn't discriminate. If we reject the person of Christ, if we reject God, he won't force himself upon us. Blaise Pascal... Here's another reason he's awesome. He said, you want to know what life's like? And this is totally cynical and beautiful. He said, it's like this. Bunch of men, women strapped in chairs, blindfolded, people getting shot. Oh, thanks, Blaise. And you hear people dying, and you don't know when you'll be next. That's life. I'm like, surely it's a little prettier than that. Calm down, have a cup of tea, settle down. But I do think, in all honesty, that reflecting upon that will incentivize us to take these questions of the existence of God and how we're living our life a whole lot more seriously. I want to close by telling you something you've already heard. It's what John Paul II said at World Youth Day in Rome while I was there. And I remember at the time, under the stars, we had walked all day, we were exhausted, I just wanted to sleep. And we were listening to these radio transmitters, and we could hear what he was saying in English. And what he had to say was powerful. And I'm paraphrasing, and I had no idea he knew this sort of truth. He said, it is Jesus Christ you seek when you dream of happiness. He is the one waiting for you when everything else has let you down. It is he who stirs in your heart this desire, this refusal to be held down by mediocrity.